Continuing on with using conditionals, there are other possibilities than just using strictly less than, greater than, or equal. So I'm going to look at a couple more pieces of code. This is a program that takes a year of birth and tells you which generation you're in. These actually are not strictly defined. Different websites, different people have different definitions, so I just kind of took an average to make this program work. So I've defined a procedure. I try to do everything in terms of procedures if possible. And so the procedure is called which generation. Which generation takes a year, which we've called in which generation year born. So that is the variable. The first time we call it year born is going to be 1950. The second time we call it year born will be 1975. And the last time we call it year born will be 1990. So year born comes in and we check. If you were born before 1964, then you are a baby boomer. Now here's an interesting condition. If you're born between 64 and 80, then you are known as Generation X, at least according to what I've been able to find out. So here's how you would write that. So the year that you're born has to be greater than or equal to, so this is greater than or equal to 1964, but it also has to be less than 1980. So we say and less than or equal to 1980. That means that both of those conditions have to be true in order for this whole thing to be true. So if you're born after 1964, 64 and after, but before 1981, then you are Generation X. And if you are none of those, then you are Generation Y. So we can run this. So we'll run generations. And what we should get is a baby boomer, Generation Xer, and a Generation Y. Okay, there are also other kinds of conditionals that you can do. So now we're going to go and look at a new procedure called vowel. So is vowel takes a letter and checks to see if it's one of the vowels, A, E, I, O, or U. And here's how it does it. So we compare, we say, is letter equal to A? Or, so in this case, it can be any one of these. Or is it equal to E, or is it equal to I, or is it equal to O, or is it equal to U? As it turns out, when we learn more kinds of structures, there may be an easier way to do this particular case, but it is handy and sometimes necessary to use the OR construct. And if it is a vowel, then we just print out the letter and is a vowel. Here's another kind of condition, not equal to. So to get not equal, you put an exclamation point in front of an equal sign. Notice that all these conditions all have two symbols in them. So not equal or double equal or greater than or equal. So if the letter is not a Y and it's not one of these vowels, because we are in the else if case, so this case has failed. It's not one of the vowels. In this case, we're checking to see is it a Y. If it's not a Y, it's a consonant. If it is a Y, well, it depends on what word it is as to whether it is a consonant or a vowel. So if we run this, and I did a test case with all 26 lowercase letters, then, well, you get sort of what you would expect. You get, are you a baby boomer? Well, maybe we should run it vowel instead of generations. So there we find out that Y depends on the context. U is a vowel, O is a vowel, I is a vowel, E is a vowel, and A is a vowel. It turns out, again, as we learn more constructs later on, this long list of 26 different tests is comprehensive. It is the sort of thing that you would want to do. However, there are easier ways to do it, and there is a case that we miss here. What happens if we put in an uppercase A? We find out that uppercase A is a consonant. Why is that? Well, because it's not one of the lowercase vowels, and it's not a lowercase y. So it defaults to this case right here. Okay, so hopefully they gave you some ideas for some other kinds of conditional statements you can construct. Beyond this, it's a matter of looking at what you have to program and figuring out, do I need ors or ands? What are the conditions here? And translating them into, well, your possibilities are and, or, not equal, equal, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to.